Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game 18 of the Real Racquetball Show. Maurice, how are you?
Go, Mike. I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. It's been a long day.
Been a long day.
Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us. What we had originally planned as our agenda for this evening's show, we pretty much just pushed aside. Tonight's show is all about the festival, and we're going to invite Connor Shane into the show. We're going to start off with the three of us. Welcome, Connor.
Hey guys, what's up, Mike? Maurice, how you doing?
Doing all right. Good. Okay. Well, I was telling everybody that we've kind of pushed aside our normal agenda, and we're going to talk about the festival. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell everybody, if you haven't already received the email, I want to let everyone know that unfortunately we've been put in a position where we've had to cancel the 2021 National Championship Festival. And I tell you, that was an extremely difficult choice to make. We've struggled with it. We've thought it might happen for the last few days, and this morning we had a number of meetings with different officials and individuals, and it just appears that the mandate's not going to change. So the only way we can move forward would be to require everyone to wear masks while they're playing. And Maurice, what's your thought on that? I mean, myself, it's a deal breaker.
I haven't worn a mask while playing since COVID's been on. You know, if it's not worth me going on the court, I just don't. But if I'm in a national championship qualifying for the team, no, I don't want to wear a mask. Yeah. You know,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
and I think that's what a lot of people think.
That's
okay.
Right. Yeah, we've heard from a lot of people over the last month or so that each time we'd reach out to them about entering, and different groups of individuals we'd reach out to about getting involved and getting entered, because we wanted the numbers to grow quickly. We wanted people to show that this is going to be a big event. And the response was pretty standard in that, look, I'm going to wait until you put out what the COVID mandate is for the event. And we had said back then that May 1st that we expected the mandates to all be changed and moving forward, and we would put out an announcement today that the mandates for wearing masks while playing, we expected that everybody would wear masks in the club. And I think that's kind of expected. But they came out today and pretty much said, or they said that we're not going to change the mask mandate. Connor, what's your take?
So we've been tracking it, very very for a while. And keep in mind that when we initially got the bid from the St. Louis Sports Commission in partnership with Missouri High School Racquetball and then Missouri Junior Racquetball, the Missouri Racquetball Association,
right.
The bid was with the understanding that they're in a good place for the most part, and we had all the right signs that we expected regulations to change. And for the most part, a lot of them did. And we were all in the uprising, right? We had optimism for sure. But since we didn't have a clear answer from city officials, from the health inspectors, stuff like that, we didn't have a clear answer that we were going to be able to play without masks. We couldn't promote that we were going to play without masks, right? It was just because we couldn't promote that, because we couldn't put out clear COVID regulations that said we're not going to be able to play with, or you don't have to play without masks, it became a little bit hard to now push that promotion towards the very end, which is indicative of the lower entries towards 30 days out. And then the response we got that multiple people, and actually quite a few people, wanted to wait to see what the regulations were going to be. So since this is basically marks 30 days out, regulations have been adjusted for some other sports, some other indoor racket sports. But since we don't have a clear answer on the racquetball specifically, we ran out of time. At this point, even if the regulations change in 2 weeks, there's just not enough time to get everybody appropriately prepped. There's not enough time to promote it. There's not enough time to really make these final decisions. And it would just be it would be us throwing together an event, and really asking people to pay a lot of money to come to an event that is not to the standard that we all expect, not that I expect, what some of our national tournaments to be.
And if you look at it, we're 10 days away from the early entry deadline, 10 days, and 14 or 17 days away from the entry deadline completely. Well, and we still can't tell everybody that they can't play without a mask. And I know there were some questions posed about, we didn't start the process until it was too late. Well, we don't have any control over what those mandates are. And we couldn't put the festival out to even start this process until we had a really good feel that those mandates were going to change.
Yeah.
And you talked to Connor, gave you the indication. I know that Dan Whitley is plugged into the St. Louis area. It's what he does for a living. And everybody was pretty comfortable that this mandate was going to be changed long before now. I mean, we expected it to change the 1st of April.
April 1st, technically the 3rd week of March. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're okay with me being a little transparent, I mean, this decision, it feels defeating, man. It's like, I feel like we really, really tried hard. And for the most part, for the last 14 months, I've been pretty much pessimistic on everything. I didn't think that championships were going to come back in Q3, then Q4, kind of had an idea about Q1, but I really had a good feeling about this festival. I mean, we did so much prep work. We had so many people on the ground. We had 7 or 8 different organizations and task forces prepped and ready to make this festival so cool. Yeah. And it just, COVID threw another curveball at us, and it ended up leading to mandates that were going to make it difficult for us to host a national championship. And then today, that difficulty turned into impossibility.
Right.
That we launched the information as soon as possible. It's been 12 straight hours of working on this information, and we just launched it.
Yeah, it is. It's been a really long day reaching out to everybody we could possibly talk to in person to talk. And I hope that everybody understands that we would never have started this process unless we really truly believed that we were going to be able to pull this off. Mm-hmm. We've invested an enormous amount of hours putting this festival together. Ours and a lot of other people's in St. Louis, the folks individual, the Missouri Racquetball Association, High School Association, the Jewish Community Center. Patty, there was wonderful to work with. Of course, Dan at the VETA, Explore St. Louis, the USA Racquetball Board, the events committee, everyone that's helped us put this together. We've got an enormous amount of hours in this. We'd have never done that if we thought this is really going to be the end result.
Right, of course.
So I just hope that nobody takes this lightly. This was a really difficult decision to make. We've got an enormous amount invested in this, and for the safety of everybody and the event itself, they just backed us in a corner to where if we waited, say 2 more weeks, waited till the entry deadline, and still couldn't tell everybody that you could play without a mask, we would have had no entries. It would have really been low. And how do people get out of their travel arrangements? It just really puts them in a bind.
Yeah.
Or, the other side of that is if suddenly 2 weeks from now they remove the mask mandate, how does everybody get a flight in a week?
Yeah, no, it's today the last day. Yeah, today was the last day possible. Murray, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off earlier.
So speaking of, saying in 2 weeks, how would they cancel it? So for everyone who's maybe booked a hotel or is planned for the trip, what are the preparations for them? Are they going to be getting refunds and stuff?
Yeah, of course. So all the refunds for the most part and all the contracts were already included with contingency plans and cancellation clauses. So the hotels are taken care of. Nobody needs to reach out to group housing. If you book through our portal, they cover everything. They take care of all the cancellations, all refunds, any processing fees you had, you're good to go. In terms of entry fees, we're working on those in the next week. Everybody gets full refunds. We're going to eat the processing fee for USA Racquetball. So the end user, the athletes, participants that paid the money should see 0 net effect on them. And then flights, if you book through the Olympic desk, they have removed change fees for the Olympic desk. So you should be good to go. If it's any other airline and they're giving you trouble, the email that we sent out can be used as supporting evidence to cancellation for the event.
Okay.
And with that, I think that's pretty good. And we've got a lot of work to do. We worked a lot today to try and come up with what contingencies might be. Mm-hmm. So the things we want everybody to kind of keep in mind. we're really disappointed that the Hall of Fame ceremony is not going to happen. We didn't have it in 2020. We're going to figure out a way to have one this year. We don't have that answer today, but I promise you that we will have an answer in the coming weeks. Whether whether that's done in a different venue, a different time, however we do that, we will come out with an announcement. And we really need to honor all of our Hall of Fame inductees appropriately. So it's a priority for us, and we will figure that out. So just hold tight on that one. The next big part is going to be, okay, well, what next? What are you going to do? You canceled this. What are you going to do? That's going to be the question, right?
That was going to be my next one.
Absolutely. So,
well, let's answer it.
Yeah, let's give at least the information we have as of now. Go ahead, Connor.
So there's been a lot of speculation about moving the festival. Well, that's not possible. Yeah. It was a 12-day festival. It took 6 months to plan, and technically it should have taken a year and a half to plan. So whatever our contingency plan looks like, it's not going to be the whole festival that we're discussing. So it'll be different parts. But one of the biggest pieces for us is the team qualifying. We got to get those athletes qualified, and not qualified in the same way we did last year, in the way that we should, right? To get those athletes on the court, to get them qualified, the IRF and the World Games, right? These events that need to be done well. So the team qualifying aspect is on number one for our contingency. And that can look a lot of different ways. That could be anything from some of the ways we're looking at, is it a solo event? I saw a couple of the comments that we could move it to Florida. There's a great venue, Real Racquetball in Florida, we've talked about before. Des Moines is a great option. Stockton potentially could be a good option for that too. Glass Court's a great option. And then Valley Forge put in a bid for some courts as well. But that team qualifying event could be a lot smaller, right? It can be a lot more intimate. It can just qualify the athletes. But then the second piece is, what do we do for the other singles, doubles divisions, and what do we do for the juniors, right? Because then nobody really has an event. Singles and doubles divisions are a little complicated because we have the U.S. Open coming up, and then in February, national doubles is happening again. Juniors is a little bit different because the juniors, we're looking at now a 12-month stint on the junior championships being feasible. So it becomes also a potential to host a junior event maybe later in the summer. Can't be too late. We do have to pay attention to the school schedules for those juniors. Has to be, June, July, August. So then the contingency plans we're working through is, do we combine those? Do we put national team qualifying with another event, that's already happening, and piggyback it off of that, or do we do it alone? And so we're working on a lot of these contingencies and which one is the most feasible. Above all, those are at the top of our list. And so contingencies right now we're looking through really is a lot more complicated, because going into the conversations with the cities, before we had 6 months to plan, 6 months to lock down venue contracts, hotel contracts, good rates for everybody, with rebates and with commissions for our third-party housing, sponsorships on top of that, then potential donors, then potential Hall of Fame and junior award celebration. And all of these things that we had 6 months to plan are now happening in a month and a half to 2 months. So moving the whole festival isn't feasible, but finding some way to be creative and just doing a minimal, get the tournament out there, get the team athletes qualified, and then hopefully do something with the juniors. Those are the contingencies we're looking at right now. And for the next week, it's going to be nonstop planning. And we're looking to have an answer really in the next week or two. So,
I think that if we can pull together the venue and what it's going to look like, I'm hoping we can get an announcement out in the next week. But we've been kind of working on this a little bit, because a week ago we started feeling the inevitableness of what's happened. So it's not like we've been standing still and now all of a sudden we got to jump and get this done. So we've got some things in works that have been going for a few days now, and we think we'll have something out here in the next few days. We can't wait a lot of time, because you're right. I'll tell you what my priorities and goals are, much like what you just said, Connor. A junior championship of some kind. We cannot have our juniors qualifying the same way they did last time. It was a great solution to the problem we had. I applaud all of those. Charlie and his team just stepped up and did a phenomenal job. But to make our juniors do that again would just be, I don't know, it'd just be really difficult for me to swallow. So we're going to figure out a way to have a junior championship. And ideally, I'd love to include in that the adult team qualifying. I mean, how cool would it be to have the juniors and the adults qualifying at the same time at the same venue, and stream all of that information out, or all that matches out for everybody?
Yeah, I completely agree.
I
And
think
like
it's a cool
I said,
deal.
I agree. I like that option, and it is a very viable option. And there was a couple comments in the section about team qualifying being kind of that turnkey, right? And I agree with that. You get those athletes on the court, but I would also love to really try hard to get those juniors included in some way. I mean, I think it's important that they get
them on the court. They need to compete and earn their spot. I mean, that's what they've been training for, practicing for. Maurice, you compete for a spot on the U.S. team. But I just can't imagine being in that position, training, and then being told, "I'm sorry, but you can't do it."
Absolutely. It's tough. I mean, a lot of the motivation for me now to train is because was the festival.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pull any punches for anyone on stream. I mean, me and Troy have been talking about it, and that was one of our main motivations. And so for me, I could speak for myself. I don't know about anybody else. Wherever the qualifying is going to be, if I can make it. If not, I can't. You know, if you want to hold it wherever, then that's where it's going to be. You know.
Yeah, and that's really great to hear, because what we don't want to happen is a feeling of apathy, to where you just say, well, I don't care. That passion to get there is what racquetball's about. It's what we drive ourselves to do. So we're going to have an answer here pretty quick. We'll get that information out as fast as we possibly can. We really want to compliment. We appreciate the support, the comments and such you guys are making. We really appreciate that. I read one on Facebook. What I consider a really good friend of mine here in Kansas City put out a nice post of support that, hey, I really hope that everybody understands this was not a light decision. We spent a lot of time.
And it's
been a really rough day.
Well, and it's going to be a lot of work, right? Because any of these contingents, we're still dealing with, a lot of California lockdowns, and we can't put it in a place where, like St. Louis right now, we don't have a clear answer. But then lots of our juniors are on the West Coast. So can we push any kind of junior qualifying or junior divisions all the way on the East Coast? Like I said, PA, Florida. There are options, but really all of this has to be hashed out as very quickly and as very effectively as possible, which I'm happy to do. But the decision that we're going to come to is going to not look the same as the festival. It's not going to be this grandiose celebration that I was really looking forward to. It is just going to be, probably a cut and dry tournament. Come, pay the entry fees, let's eat food and celebrate. We'll be good to go.
But I'm sure we'll find a way to celebrate racquetball getting back into a championship format somehow. Wherever we go, they will have a gathering place where we can get together and celebrate. And I just, one of the comments that just came on that, Maurice, you probably really like.
What's up?
Alex and Sudgy are looking forward to taking on Maurice and Troy.
Okay. Bring it on. Troy's always going to be on. Let's do it.
I love it. That's good.
So, speaking
that's what I love about our sport and the athletes that we have, our top athletes. They just want to compete.
Yeah. I mean, and it's especially during this time, because there are some states who still haven't been able to play,
California. Yeah.
Juniors on the court who haven't been able to get people on the court.
Yeah.
And so just being able to play at this point is a lot more than, especially at this time last year. On this time last year. So I would say if anyone's got a legitimate question or like a comment to say, hey, have y'all thought about this place, or what about adding this? Like, please give it out and suggest it. But I can say from being a part of the show, everyone behind the scenes has been putting in a lot of work. They really have. Connor's been doing a lot. Mike's been doing a lot. Everybody's been doing a lot to try and get this thing to go on. Does it hurt as a player that it's canceled? Yes, but no, because I'd rather be safer than sorry. And so I appreciate them canceling it at this point, rather than me booking my flight in my hotel and then going, hey, we can't have it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm appreciate that. Hey, we've been working on it for 12 hours and this is what we've got, guys. We apologize, but we're going to cancel it and at least do something that is smarter and more feasible than just trying to rush something that might not work anyway. I've said that every time I'm on this, and I appreciate you guys from doing it. So thank you for letting me now rather than later on, closer to June.
And that's well, and like I say, it's just we have absolutely the best interest in mind that we've got to get racquetball back on the court fast we can, the best way we can, but we've got to do it smart. We can't take giant risks and risk damaging the association or the sport as a whole. So the things we're looking at right now, the events that are coming up, I mean, we still have some great events coming up. The outdoor event coming up out in California, 3-wall ball coming up, the U.S. Open, the website's up, entries are up for all of those events. Get on them. They had a great event in the Carolinas. I mean, I'm sure you guys got a chance to watch some of that streaming. The LPRT, my goodness, that was some phenomenal racquetball this weekend. That was phenomenal. It was so cool to see all those people and the size of the draw they had. I mean, I was impressed. I don't know, I didn't see what the actual number was, but I mean, there were a lot of ladies competing for that.
Maybe I think 150 total, and then 35 LPRT Pro signing.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really well done event. The streaming was high quality, good stuff. I loved the quality of the work that everybody was doing on that. So everybody's working hard to keep racquetball going. And USA Racquetball is working in every way we possibly can right now. So, so the good question. Malia Bailey asked a question: how many courts do we need to host a junior event? Good question. Yeah. I like that one a lot.
I guess I can answer a couple of those other questions too with that. So, love to host it on 7 courts. 8 courts would be beneficial. 9 would really be great. A couple clubs nearby can host that, and a lot of clubs in the country can host that, but not really confident on how many athletes are going to be able to come to that one. But keep in mind, a lot of our juniors are on the West Coast or in big divisions in St. Louis. So I would love to have somewhere nearby where they could drive, somewhere centralized. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah. But that's kind of that confusing piece for juniors. The team qualifier is a lot more flexible, whether or not we pair it with something similar to that or another event that's already happening. Or just do it on its own. I mean, a lot of the Team USA athletes and some of the professional athletes have very clearly said, wherever it is, they can make it work. They just need, to know with as much time as possible to prepare, and I think that's why we're going to try and get this decision out as fast as possible with everything vetted out, as we mentioned before. We want to announce the event, location, venue, hotels. Here's the rates. Here's the location, or here's the extra things that are happening if there is anything else happening. Boom, 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 boom. So
I just think it's cool to put the adult team qualifying in the junior tournament. I just think that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I love that a lot. I think that'd be fun. The juniors would just love to have that motivation to watch the adults compete. The streaming would be good. Having all the juniors screaming and yelling, you need somebody in the crowd. Somebody's got to motivate. The players are, Maurice, if you've got a crowd of people screaming and yelling for you, it gives you a little extra adrenaline to play, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I can highlight Sudsy's comment there. How many courts are needed to host a national team qualifier? That one's a lot easier, right? We don't need that many. Yeah. Really, I would say the majority of clubs in the United States for indoor courts can host a team qualifier. No more than 2, 3, 4 courts would be fine.
4 courts would be great, yeah.
But there's a ton of courts that could host that. And like I said, those athletes are willing to travel. I think that's great. I would love to host something for that. That was an idea that, we hashed out over a year ago. Now it's just something we really got to figure out.
Unfortunately,
we're in an emergency situation. Yep. Yeah. So I will do my best.
Ideally, we'd love something that had 8 to 10 courts for the juniors to combine the adult qualifying with it.
Yeah.
We're really looking hard for a facility that already has the mask mandate in place that would allow people to play without a mask. We just cannot take the chance of setting up and going through all the work again and then having a mandate not come through, unfortunately, like we did in St. Louis. We're in that spot. So we've got to find a place that's open, running, and will let you play without a mask and is willing to let us run an event in their club. And, with that said, you think about it, there's not a lot of places that will have that conversation. The universities are all pretty much out. A lot of places on the West Coast that aren't even playing, or if they are, they're requiring mask mandates. And we really want a club that has great viewing. something we can set up streaming on, because we want to really, really show off our junior talent, our adult talent, and show, if we can't get everybody at the same event like we were going to have at the festival, well, at least we can do is have them view it. So we want a place that's got, good courts that we can stream off of. I don't know. I may be asking for a lot, but I think that with everybody looking, we can find that place. Connor, you called what, 3, 4 today? Venues that are good possibilities. We're hoping we have enough of them. We can just kind of pick and choose the best of the availabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to clarify, can we highlight Jason Sauer's question there? Why is the mask mandate important to have? Just curious. We're specifically talking about wearing a mask while playing racquetball on the court. So not just the general mask mandate. That's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about, getting the mask on while you're in the court playing. But you're right. There's a lot of states out there that have clear enough rules and no mask mandate while playing. Like I said, Texas is on there, Florida's on there, Iowa's on there, Pennsylvania's on there, Virginia. There's some courts here and there that we could look for courts, and we are looking for courts. But
right.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and they're right. We're looking for the best situation we can possibly put ourselves in to make this event successful. Fully understand that there are chances that if things go bad, they're going to change the mandates. We can't control that. We can't predict that. Our crystal ball is not working well. So we've got some good options we're looking at. Specifically, you can find some clubs. If you know of one that's open, that's willing to host, which is another big question. A lot of the clubs that we've talked to that are open and playing are just a little bit squeamish about having 150 participants come in and play in their club. They just don't want to draw that kind of attention. But
yeah, and that's what we're saying.
We will make an announcement in hopefully within the next week. Don't hold me to that exactly, because we want to have a contract in place before we make the announcement. We don't want to speculate on where it will be, but there are a lot of them. There are a lot of good clubs out there. A lot of people working really hard to make sure that racquetball is going to survive and thrive. And I think having a successful junior event with adults is really going to show well.
Yeah, we can highlight another. Don't have to highlight the comment, but there was a couple on there about advance notice, and we're 30 days out. Making the announcement now, and then also how early did we give people announcement notice before this event?
Right.
And keep in mind, for the past over 15 months, we've been in a pandemic. So conversations about any sort of clubs have been very slow, almost non-existent. We mentioned earlier, highlighted colleges, universities, even now are not easy to talk to. They don't want to talk about events for another year, some to a year and a half. One university I talked to said they don't want to talk about it until the end of 2022.
Right.
But then, giving notice of the event could not have been done a year in advance. That's how I like to do it. We talked about this multiple times. I want to launch the national schedule a year in advance, and all of the events be prepped and ready to go with all the websites built. But with the last 15 months,
yeah, it's not happening.
And then the notice, prior to this cancellation basically being today, it was difficult to wait to the last minute of promotion, but then also give people enough time. Is it enough time to cancel this early? We don't really know, but this date today marked our decided final date of actual decision making. We waited long enough for the regulations, but we have to make the decision at some point. So I do want to clarify that for a couple of moments.
All right. Well, I really appreciate everybody's input. We love all the comments. Like the fact that you guys.
Okay, so as Mike was saying, or a question, feel free to send them to me. I have no issue. So for next show, I'll have them stockpiled. So if there's any question you have, feel free to send them to me. You can always contact me on Facebook. Connor, they can reach you.
And please reach out to me. The contact information was in that email. And like I said before, Feel free to send me questions, concerns, but I'll do my best to get a very feasible option taken care of as fast as possible, and then get that launched.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sorry, apologize for jumping out. For some reason, it just went away and went right back in. So
that's right. Maurice just pretty much closed it out. So if you have anything else, I'll jump off.
Maurice.
Thank you.
Good job.
I'll jump off then. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys later. Thank you.
All right, Connor. Thank you for your work today, and we'll hit it again tomorrow. Maurice.
Yes, sir.
It's I'm spent all day frustrated and disappointed that we had to cancel this event.
Yeah.
But I love all of the support that people understand, and I think everybody does. We've been fighting this pandemic for a long time, and we're not. This is just proving that we're not quite done yet. We're seeing light at the end of the tunnel, but the tunnel is a long tunnel.
It is. But as Joe said, you're gonna keep working on it. So like I told them, just send every question, concern, option, help them out. Send them to me. I will pass them along. I promise you. What we're here for, or that's what I'm here for, is to help bridge that gap.
And we really appreciate that help and input, Maurice. You're a valuable part of this process, and I'm glad that you've stayed engaged with us, and that people will reach out to you and give you that information. That's really cool. So thank you.
Thanks for everything.
Yeah, well, we will keep working. We will vet out all of the opportunities and options we have, and we will come up with the best one we can get. So thank you for the show. We will do this again in 2 weeks, and we will in 2 weeks, we really should be talking about what that opportunity is going to be and how we're going to get everybody on a court at that next tournament. I'm not sure.
Share the feed, everybody. Please hit
share the feed. Get everybody out there, and we will talk to you all soon. We will give you all the information we have as soon as we have it. We will not hold until the next show. Keep an eye on your emails. Watch for the newsletter. We will be announcing the Real Racquetball champion at the next show.
Yep.
So keep giving us nominations, please. We have a good list of individuals, but we're always looking for those diamonds hiding out there, growing racquetball in your small community. It doesn't have to be in a big city. Anybody that's working hard to grow racquetball, please send us that nomination. We will be announcing the Real Racquetball champion on the next show. It's game 19 on May 17th. Mark your calendar. All right, Maurice, any closing parting nuggets?
No, I mean, like I said, I appreciate y'all letting us know. We've told them to share, give us comments. We'll just go from there.
All right. Well, everyone have a great night, and we will talk again soon. Thank you all very much.
See you, everybody. Bye, Mike.
Bye. Bye, Maurice.